it's Miss Burnett back at it again with some math. Okay, I'm sorry, I got a little too excited. All right, so this week we're still going to be working on adding and subtracting mixed numbers. So we're just going to be going over questions that was missed, commonly missed last week. But before I start with the question, Miss Young is behind that camera. Pop on in here with your mask on. Hey! Yes, we are 6 feet apart. She's gonna be chiming in and helping. We're gonna like tag team this problem. And we're just gonna go over some of the mistakes, some of the steps that some of you are missing. And I just want to show you before we start, I have worked out the problem before I started, before I taught y'all. So I wanted to make sure I could teach it. I wanted to make sure that I knew it before I taught y'all. So you need to do your work, okay? Show your work. I'm just saying. Okay, so we're gonna get started. All right, so when planning for a dinner party, my mom purchased 3 pies of the same size for dessert. We ate 5/6 of one pie and 7/8 of another pie. How much pie was left over after the party? So we've read our question. The first thing we need to do is go ahead and underline our actual question. What are they wanting to know? Well, they want to know, ooh, I like this mark, it's brand new. How much pie was left over after the party, okay? Now, we know that because they're asking how much pie was left over, we know that we're gonna have to subtract. Okay? So now we need to actually, is that spelled? Nope, that's not spelled right. Thank you. We need to subtract. I saw Miss Young's face in the back.
Miss Burnett can't spell today, y'all.
No, I'm a terrible speller. So we need to subtract at the very end. So right now, I'm going to write down everything that I know. All right, so I know that at the beginning of our dinner party, my mama, because I love pie, she purchased 3 of them. So we have 3 pies. Okay? Now I know that we ate, so I'm just gonna draw a picture. This is 1 pie, 2nd pie, our 3rd pie. For 1 pie, we ate 5/6 of it. And then another pie, we ate 7/8 of it. Great thing is, we didn't touch this pie, so I get a whole pie to myself. All right, so I need to figure out, I don't want to subtract yet. I have these 2 pies that we're eating out of. So I want to actually add and see how much pie we ate out of these 2 pies, okay? So, I didn't know if it was gonna move with me or not. All right, so 5/6 plus 7/8. Now, before we can add these, they have to have the same denominator. So we're gonna make a T-chart and we're gonna find our least common denominator or least common multiple. All right, so I'm gonna do that right here. Okay. So, nope, Miss Burnett. Our denominators are the bottom numbers, so we have 6 and we have 8. So remember, multiples are when we actually count by that number. So least common multiple. So now we're gonna count by 6s. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. I'm gonna stop right there. Now I'm gonna count by 8s. 8, 16, 24, 32. Don't laugh at me, Mrs. Young. Okay, it's been a long day. All right, so now I can find what number these 2 numbers have in common. And I see 24. Is that the least number that they have in common? Yes, it is the smallest number that they have in common. So I know that these denominators are going to be 24. Okay, because I like color coding. Now I want to ask myself, what did I multiply by 6 to get to 24? Well, if you don't know, you can just come over here and count. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. So 6 times 4 is 24. What you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. So we're going to multiply this by 4. What is 5 times 4? It is 20. All right. So now we come down here to this one. What did we multiply by 8 to get to 24? We counted 1, 2, 3 times. So 8 times 3 is 24. Now we come up here. What we do to the bottom, we have to do to the top. 7 times 3, ooh, that's a wonky 3, is 21. So our new fractions, I'm going to rewrite because I have to rewrite things, is 20 over 24, so 20 24ths plus 21 24ths. All right, now that was our first step. Now we need to actually add these to see how much was eaten of those two pies. So 20 plus 21 is, and I'll come over here and work it out for you. 1 plus 0 is 1, 2 plus 2 is 4. So our numerator is going to be 41. Do we need to add our denominators? I hope you said no, we do not. That just drops down. So this is how much pie, is that how you spell eaten?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, was eaten. So with these two pies, there was 41 over 24 eaten. What is funny about this fraction? It is an improper fraction. So we need to change this improper fraction to a proper one. Before we do that, I want you to take a little break and clear your brain. Not of the stuff that we've taught, but just rest your brain for a second. You should have taken your break, so now we're back. Now remember, this was an improper fraction, so we need to change it into a proper fraction, okay? So, in our past videos, Miss Young definitely taught you how to turn an improper fraction to a proper fraction. So remember, when we're dividing fractions, our denominator always goes on the outside, and our numerator always goes on the inside. All right, so I need to see how many times 24 can go into 41. So how many times can we count by 24 and not go past 41? It is only one time. If you don't believe me, I'll do it. 24 times 1 is 24. 24 times 2 is 48. Look at that, doing it in my head. Yes, thank you, Miss Young. All right, so 24 times 1 is 24. Now we need to subtract. If we have 1, we cannot take away 4. So this 4 is going to turn into a 3, and this 1 is going to turn into an 11. 11 minus 4 is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 7. And 3 minus 2 is 1. Now remember, this is literally our fraction. This 1 is our whole number. So 1. This 17 is our numerator. Is it E or AR? Sure, it's going to be ER today.
I think it's OR.
Right? Sure, okay. 17. And then the 24 stays the same as our denominator. So 41 over 24 is the same thing as 1 and 17 24ths.
They are equivalent.
Yes, thank you, Miss Young. They are equivalent. Equal, equivalent. All right, take a little break. All right, so we remember that we had 3 pies to start off with. We had eaten some of the first pie and some of the second pie. Then we added those together to see how much pie was eaten all together. So 1 and 17 24ths of those pies were eaten. So now we need to subtract to see how much pie we're going to have left, which means how much pie am I going to be able to go home and eat all by myself, okay? So, we have 3, because that's our whole number.
That's how many pies we started with.
Yes, that's how many pies we started with.
Mm-hmm.
Subtract 1 and 17/24. So this is how many we started with, and this is how much was eaten, okay? All right, so when we subtract, just like regular numbers, if we don't have anything here, because this is like a 0, if we don't have anything here, we have to borrow. We have to have something to subtract from. So this 3 is going to turn into a 2 because we are borrowing a whole. Now remember, a whole in fraction has to have the same denominator and the same numerator. We're just using the same denominator we have. It's just that easy. So in order to make this fraction equal a whole, we just put the same number on top for our numerator. So it's like we're saying we have 24 pieces, and out of those 24 pieces, 24 are shaded, okay? So now we can subtract. So I'm just gonna make it a little neater. Don't forget this whole number. So we have 2 24/24, subtract 1 and 17/24. All right, we're doing subtracting our fractions first. What's 24 minus 17? 4 minus 7, we can't do it. That turns into a 14, and this turns into a 1. I don't say borrow, I say steal because they're not getting it back. 14 minus 7 is 7. 1 minus 1 is 0. So our numerator is going to be 7. We do not subtract these denominators. It stays the same. 2 minus 1 is 1. So, how much pie was left over after the party? Did we subtract? We did. So we know we are now done with the problem. We have 1 whole pie and 7/24 left to take home after the party. All right, boys and girls, go ahead and do your assignment today. If you need help, ask your teacher.